Navavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Assuming that all desire is motivated by needs, survival, enjoyment, fear, happiness, then how can we have no attachment to desires which derive from needs? Since all longing and desire starts as soon as we are born, how can we accept desires as enjoyable but at the same time detach and not enjoy? Well, all desire, I don't know if it's motivated by needs. Some desires, like the needs are of two kinds. That's why we had a little, if not a PhD, an MA thesis on the needs. There are cultivated needs and uncultivated needs. So the uncultivated needs, that one pursues, yes, and because that is something that is there, and whether one pursues or not, the solution for those uncultivated needs are available right then and there. The problem is with these cultivated needs, which kind of slip into, at least in one's perception, into one cannot do without them. That's why I gave that teenager's answer. When I asked, give me an example of uncultivated need, the teenager said cable TV. Meaning he was born with it. He couldn't imagine life without it. And this way, if we go to see, all the things that we think are luxuries, the next generation will think of them as necessities. The things that we think are necessities, the previous generations thought of as luxuries. And what they thought of as, necessities, the previous generation, for that it was a luxury. So this is the problem with cultivated, needs. There's no end to them, and they start to feel uncultivated. Like we cannot imagine life without fridge. Can't imagine. Because it is, it is so much part of life. So it comes under needs like this. So that's why one has to be careful, and when one cannot assume that all needs are on the same level. So that is one thing. And we are not saying don't have attached. See, again, I don't like to use the word attachment for this reason. So we don't say don't have quote unquote attachment to the desires. Because you can't desire something without wanting it badly. There's already a connection. And then when the result comes, one is disappointed or elated depending on the result and whether the desire is fulfilled or not fulfilled. And so here one has to manage one's emotions with regard to the outcome. This is what is called prasada buddhi, where one manages the emotional response of not too much dejection or not too much elation, a moderate response, and that is what is called samatvam yoga uchyate. And it is called samatvam because that response to the results of action, for whatever desires I am trying to fulfill, is moderate and is based on what is called prasada buddhi. That these results are coming from Bhagavan. So whatever comes from Bhagavan, I have to receive with with the shraddha of acceptance, if not glad acceptance. Glad acceptance may be one more janma away, but at least now there is acceptance. So this is how one, progresses. So this way, the disappointment will be there. I worked hard, I really wanted something, And somebody else who, in my view, is not at all deserving got it. All these things should be there. Then the disappointment is even more. But one manages the disappointment in that light. This is coming from Bhagavan. And so, this is non-separate from Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the Karta. Bhagavan is the Karma Phala Data, the giver of the result of action. So whatever it is coming. And my acceptance of it is a form of prayer. So this is how one spiritualizes the desire, and the desire, the effect of one's karma. That's the thing. So the desire starts actually we don't say longing starts as soon as we are born. In fact, longing is the cause of birth. So it precedes birth. As soon as one is born, maybe the expression starts. But it was already there. That is what made way for this particular body, this particular parentage, this particular place of birth, this particular, whatever it is, circumstances of one's being. So the longing, that's why it's called longing. It started a long time ago. So really speaking, you can, there are many questions mixed in. How can we accept desires as enjoyable? Yeah, you accept desire, but you can, nobody says don't enjoy. Enjoy the results of action, enjoy the desires, but in that enjoyment there is a certain moderation. If you hit the ceiling, especially a vaulted ceiling, when something wonderful happens, there's a long way to come down. When things don't go your way. So you can levitate just 1 inch off the floor. That's good enough. Have a floaty feeling, enjoy, come down. Be on the ground, that's the thing. Because how does one get carried away? Because one starts mistaking and thinking, I am the producer of the result of action. That is where the problem comes. I did it, I got it, I gained it. Hey, not bad, I'm getting better. Whatever it is, this becomes a ahankara's trip. And trip means that which makes one trip. That's why it's called trip. So therefore we have to be careful over here. That's basically what I would say. Nice questions. Many times insights come and then more darkness seems to arise. Could you talk about this? Well, it just goes to show that insights can live side by side with tamas. That's all. Nothing to worry. Insights are there, and then in between, when it's a cloudy day, sun doesn't come out, suddenly sun comes out, we enjoy, and then in the winter months the sun goes back in again, and then, we wait for the sun to come out. That's all it is. We don't give a lot of weightage to the ways of the mind. Where the mind is concerned, you only have to say never mind. That's all. It is mithya. Ultimately, it's not you. It parades as you. It masquerades as you. It will have you convinced that it is you. It is not you. A sad person is held up. The sadness of the person is held up by Ananda, Satchidananda. Sadananda. Everyone is a Sadananda. So it is Satchidananda alone which holds up the sorrow. It is Shantananda who holds up the anger. It is Muktananda who feels the bound. This is what it is. It's all contradictory. So the Shanta Atma, Ananda Atma feels Ashanti. That feeling is connected, is a manodharma, the property or the attribute of the mind, and the attribute can only belong to the mind. It cannot belong to you because you are free of attributes. That's why aham sakshi, how to help with this? Aham sakshi, remember that contemplation which we talked about? Aham sakshi. So whenever there is a feeling of tamas, oh, I was having such an insightful day, now it has all gone down. What is going on? Oh no, insights come back. And the more you want them to come back, they won't. And so what do you have to do? You have to just be the witness. Yeah, I'm not the insight, nor its disappearance, am I? Let the insight come. The insight is just some writing on the canvas which is free, in invisible ink, which is free of that writing. And then the so-called clouds are also just some drawings in invisible ink on that canvas, which leave no imprint, no impression, completely free. That's what you are. So when there is a personal rain cloud, you don't try to run away from it. Just sit with it. Wait it out. Find an umbrella. Umbrella is Om Namah Shivaya. That's the umbrella. Find an umbrella, stand under Om Namah Shivaya. Bhakti is the umbrella. Jnanam is the umbrella. And then, Bhakti is the umbrella, Bhagavan is the umbrella. And then what happens? You are okay. And then after that, that too, you will know that it is just all happening. Like when it rains, does the space get wet? No. Space doesn't get wet. The space doesn't say, oh no, the monsoons are coming, I need a raincoat. It doesn't say that. Let it rain. Space is not upset. Let it be sunny. The space doesn't need, sunscreen. Yeah. Space does not say, I'll get sunburned, I need some sunscreen. Let it be sunny. No difference. Let it rain. No difference to space. Because space knows I am unaffected by anything that's happening. Because all the things are as it were happening in space, in me, but it is not of me, I am not affected. Same thing. This Chidakasha Atma, this space-like Chit, which is oneself, is unaffected by feelings, unaffected by thoughts, notions, no matter how persistent and how convincing they may appear. That's their job. Because the ahankara puts a stamp, the mind, buddhi, everyone together go and gang up. And so then the ahankara very, quickly starts to identify. That's why the ahankara is put on a sakshi diet in the contemplation. I'm not what I see, I'm not what I observe. So this is, constantly one is in this kind of a contemplative way, and slowly all this will not be an issue at all. It will not come into the picture. Srishti Drishti Vada, Drishti Srishti Vada, Arsha Vidya prefers which one to teach. The same question had come earlier also. I thought I had answered it. But, this one is more to do with our course. Let's keep this on hold. We'll go to number 2, which is more relevant now. Karma is nothing but connecting cause and effect mentally. Are they not two independent happenings? Karma is not just connecting cause and effect mentally. Otherwise, karma would be subjective. One would think something is my karma and it is a subjective exercise, but it is not. Karma is Bhagavan's law. That's why it's called the law of karma. There is some intelligence in it. In fact, it's all knowledge. Everything about karma is knowledge. So the knowledge of previous actions and what is a fair return for those previous actions, and that giving that particular body in order to experience those previous actions, all that is knowledge. It's an order. It's not something that any person, me or anyone else, me or you, has just spun up and given an explanation for things which we cannot explain as karma. No. It's a law. It's Bhagavan's law. And that is how it is presented in the Bhagavad Gita. That is how it is presented in the Upanishads as well. And so, that being the case, cause and effect, yes, about that you are correct. Cause and effect, yes. There is a cause, actions are the cause, every action has a result of action, and the result of action further gives rise to various experiences, bodies, etc. So this is a cause-effect. Is the cause not independent of the effect? How can it be? That is, the connection between cause and effect is called causation. By causation, we mean we are looking at the cause in relation to the effect or vice versa. So, the cause and effect are connected. And so, because the cause is gives rise to the effect. So, the connection is that of offspring and parent, really. So, the cause is the parent and the effect is like an offspring. It has sprung from this cause. That is what is the effect. And in karma, it becomes much more, spicy, because full of masala. Why? Because the effect then becomes the cause. Ayyo, what to do now? So the effect, in terms of whatever action you did, there was some result. That was the cause. Cause is the action. Action is the cause for certain results of action. And the results of action are the cause for then newer bodies and newer situations. Then that is another effect. And then that effect then becomes cause. This is what is called Maya, Mithya. It is so, intense. At some point you don't know what is cause, what is effect. Which prompts Lord Krishna to ask, Kim karma kimakarmeti kavayopi atra mohitaha. Even the kavi means duradarshis, people who can see, who can see things which many people cannot see. Far-sighted ones, the wise ones. Kavayaha api, even they, mohitaha, they are confused. They are all confused. They are all deluded. Why are they confused? Why are they deluded? They don't know what is karma, what is not karma, what is effect, what is cause, what causes what. And the effect, how can the effect become the cause? Well, just because it is a law. That's all. It's a law. That's how it is. And everything in the world is like that. So what is pot and effect, correct? And then what is the cause of pot? Clay. And then clay becomes effect in relation to earth. And in relation to earth becomes the cause, and the earth becomes effect in relation to molecules, particles, all the way. Then finally we have Bhagavan, Brahman, as the causeless cause. And then finally we say, even Brahman is not the cause of anything, because there is no effect to really talk about. Arey, why didn't you tell me this before? Yeah, better late than never. That's all I have to say. Because there is a way to understand this. Because if one thinks right in the beginning that there is no, the Jagat doesn't matter, nothing matters, action is really doesn't matter because the truth of one is actionlessness, all these things, before one has mastered dharma, how to behave in the world, my conduct, my values, etc., they have to be in line for this knowledge to sit. Otherwise it will be the defense of every serial offender. My Lord, not guilty. Why? By way of being akarta. Shastra says, what is the proof? Shastra is the proof. I didn't do it because I am Atma and Atma is akarta. And everybody will plead that. So, therefore, in the beginning, this is all a model. Karma is a model. Effect of karma is a model. Papa punya is a model. And dharma is a model. And so this is just to make sure that one is in line with the flow. When one learns to go with the flow, the model is not necessary. It has outlived itself. So the whole point is to become a sadhu, following the rules of dharma and karma. And once for whom the rule is internalized, you don't need the rule. That's the idea. Okay. So that is that's the second question. Third question. does the thought create the thinker? Well, there is some truth to it. As is illustrated by the, Sanskrit idiom, yad bhavitam tad bhavati. If you keep dwelling on something, it will happen. And this is more of this is a saying, and there is some truth to it, because when one is preoccupied with something, all the focus is there, all the actions are connected to that, and therefore one works hard to gain that, and so yad bhavitam tad bhavati. So that is, and it is true also that thoughts are very powerful. If one starts to keep thinking, I'm no good, I'm a donkey, I never do anything right, what's my problem? When am I going to learn? Why am I so impossible? I can't do a single thing correctly. This is all expressions of self-critique. Self-critique is there. As long as the knowledge will not come fully, self-critique will not go. It is there. But here what one is doing through thinking in this manner constantly is feeding the fire of self-critique. And if you put the ghee of these kinds of thoughts into the fire of self-critique, what happens? You have a big forest fire. This is what happens. It grows. Because the mind then, it snowballs. It attaches to this, that, everything else, and then it just becomes, it becomes very convincing. So when these kinds of thoughts come, it is better to understand this, understand that this is what happens. It grows. When it is nourished, it grows. You change the channel. Like when you're watching a rerun on TV. You turn the TV on and, you've seen this before. Same old, same old. What do? You quickly change the channel. And here is an internal rerun. I'm a donkey, I'm an idiot. How many times have you heard it? The same thing, the same show, drama is playing. Replace it with drama. That's all. That's all. And so when you change the channel, and to change the channel, one has to have some inner space, some sakshitvam is cultivated, and then one changes the channel and does it as many times as is needed from a place of inner kindness. Because already the problem is self-critique. On top of that, I'm such an idiot, I can't stop thinking of this. Then again, it's not good. It becomes some other difficult situation. One thing on top of another thing. So therefore, the changing of the channel has to be done gently and extremely compassionately, without self-critique, without, it's just like when a toddler runs off into the street, the mother gently brings it back, no matter how many times it does that. So that is how one, deals with these kinds of, thoughts, etc., internally. One is parenting these kinds of thoughts. That's the idea. So this Drishti Srishti Vada, whose question is this? Nobody's question. Okay. Because this is a very specific thing to what we have been studying in the 8-week course, and I have already responded to it, basically there are two kinds of ways of looking at it, and this Drishti Srishti Vada has its beginnings in the 15th century, where the contention is that what we call the objective world is actually subjective, because when I look at the objective world and when you look at the objective world, we filter it through our own subjective thoughts, impressions, perceptions. That's what it is. So that is, it's not a wrong way to look at it. There is some truth to it. But really speaking, it's an interesting perspective. But really speaking, we need to have some common ground with which to even gain the knowledge. Otherwise, how will vritti jnanam operate? If everything is pratibhasika, how come only vritti jnanam, the way the knowledge is gained, why only that is vyavaharika, or how come that only is like this? So, you can't, there are some awkward situations if we take it to the full extent. But it is a good way to, sort of have an internal review of all the thoughts and everything, and to make it as objective as possible. I see it because it is there. That is a much better way than saying it, than saying, I see whatever I see, and then I try to see if it is there. So that is, that is not what one does. It's a very technical question, not much relevant to whatever we spoke about earlier. So that is what I had here. Are there any other questions that you would like to ask? Yes.
Talking about empathy, right? You said they have this empathize with somebody.
Yeah, some people have it full blown.
I do have it too.
Ah.
What is the difference between empathy and compassion? And also,
Yeah.
empathizing with somebody, how do you get out of it? Because
Yeah.
why?
You keep saying Sakshi Aham. Yes. And the new age people will say, cover yourself in white light and anything that helps. Oh, I'm all for it. Yeah, if that helps. Some kind of a mental we also do that. We don't cover ourselves in white light. We do what is called Digbandhana. Bhur Bhuvassuvarom. Yeah. That is covering, that is the Shastric equivalent of covering oneself in blue light, white light, yellow light, whatever, does that. This is called Digbandhana. So that in the puja, all other things should not disturb. And we do say there is Sukshma Sharira, we don't call it aura, we say Sukshma Sharira. So Sukshma Sharira extends beyond the body, it is subtle. And so you go like this. And that is why this Anganyasa, Karanyasa helps. Agnihotratmane Angushtabhyan Namaha. Darshapurnamaasatmane Tarjanibhyan. See, every finger is Ishwarized. Hand, Karatala Karaprishtabhyan Namaha. And Shirase Swaha, Shikhayai Vashat, Kavachaya Hum. Yeah, this is a kavacha. This is white light. Yeah, kavacha means it's an armor. Here is my armor when these bija mantras are chanted. So the utterance of the bija mantra hum means instantly you are covered by a kavacha. It's amazing. And then like this, bhur bhuvassuvarom iti digbandha. And then that is followed by dhyanam. That is followed by a small meditation. Then you get into the puja. But the whole life is a puja. You can do that. You can do that, you take that Laghunyasa for Sri Rudram and practice that every day. It only takes 10 minutes. It's wonderful. And that will help. And then that is as far as kaika, physically it goes. And then mentally, you have to say that you are a sakshi aham. And then, what is the difference between empathy and compassion? Empathy generally is the precursor of compassion, at least the way I look at it. So you feel empathetic and then you act compassionately. But right now for you, don't worry about all that. Just if you are in your place, imagine being in your place and helping another, and another being helped just by your being. That is the idea. Because, one is powerful just by being. You don't even know. And, we all don't even know. Just by our being, we might be helping somebody. You don't have to do anything. This is not about doing. That's why one is called human being. Yeah. not human doing. So one learns to be. That's important. And that being is, if you just are happy, secure in your being, that's as good as being helpful. And there is something nice and a relief to be staying in one's own place, in one's own space. One is secure in one's own space. And then you have the liberty to open up that space and allow somebody inside or somebody's feelings. But then you also have the liberty to close off that space, kick somebody out if needed, or gently tell them to leave. And that is what is called healthy boundaries. And that is what one has to practice. Healthy boundaries. You don't have to have barbed wires. That's not what we are talking about. Just a small, just a small like a boundary. Healthy boundaries. Permeable, but not permissive. Yeah. Other questions? Yes. You can go out. Yeah, you have that protection. Yeah. The protected being goes out. Yeah. Bhagavan is the one that protects. Done? Yes? Yes.
Any such practice to overcome
Fear of past.
past karmas or...
Yeah. Fear of past karma is guilt. Feeling of guilt. And the inability to accept oneself. And that can be healed, That is some, you can do some... You can actualize it by some prayashchitta karma. I don't know what I have done, but you can tell Bhagavan, I don't know what I have done. Who knows what they did in the last birth? Nobody. I don't know what I have done, yet I am worried about the repercussions. You can do some prayashchitta karma. And, you can do some... Sri Rudram is the best one. Even if you don't know how to chant it, listen to it. Even if you don't know the meaning, it is powerful. It helps to listen to it. It is the best upaya, remedy for papa nivritti, to overcome papa. So just listen to the Sri Rudram every day, it will go. And that, I'm not the karta, you say, I'm not the bhokta, so the results of action and all you don't have to worry about. You can practice that contemplation. And when that is done, then there is nothing to get too, concerned about. It will go. It always does. Are we done? Anything else? Anyone else?
When you look at someone and you see us, when you look at us or see someone, do you see God? How do you see when you see someone?
How do I see?
Yeah.
Same way as you
Same.
see. Yeah.
Okay, no.
Using the eyes, But the thing is, in the teaching situation, there is no deliberation. There is no thinking of this one or that one, which one, as a separate entity. And there is only what happens is speaking happens. And if people find it relevant, if it is useful, then it is a good thing. If it is not useful, they can try their luck next time. That's all. Because it's not some deliberate, planning that's going on, that this is what will be said and then that is what will happen. It's more what Bhagavan gives. That is what teaching.
Attached to anything, so that's why I'm asking. It's like, how do you, some gurus just see God or whatever. I'm just curious how you.
Well, everything is God. Everything is God. One is prayerful. That's all it is. Everything is Bhagavan. And of course, whatever it is, what you're speaking is also coming from Bhagavan. And it is perhaps meant for some people who find it relevant, and some parts of it. Some parts of it is meant for everyone, and those people find it relevant. Some parts of it is, meant for few others who find it relevant. And that's how it is. It is not any particular, plan. There is no plan. There is just the verses in front, or the Upanishad. Today Bhagavad Gita, yesterday Upanishad. Like that, whatever is in front is in front. And whatever comes, comes. That's why if the same class is taught by somebody else, they may be moved to say some other things. Another Swami teaching the same verses may be moved to address it. Of course, there will be some similar things. The grammar cannot change, obviously. The meanings of the word cannot change. That basis will be there. But based on that, maybe another Swami will be moved to focus on some or highlight some other aspect of it, depending on who is in front. It's all depending on who is in front of you. That's what the whole thing is. And then even if the same Swami teaches the same verse, and we used to see this with Pujya Swamiji all the time, Pujya Swamiji would teach the same verse in different context, and it would all be completely different. The basic meaning would not change, but what he would see and how he would explain would be catered to whatever unasked questions were there, which it's not that he would go inside the mind of somebody and pick it up. It's just a connection. Because it's all action and result of actions. That person's question or a burning desire to know something becomes a prayer, and then the unfoldment of the verse becomes the answer to their prayer. It has nothing to do with the person teaching, really. It is Guru Tattva, the principle. It's not the person. It's not the personality of of whoever is teaching. So we would see Pujya Swamiji, that's why the teaching, when it came from him, was very alive, relevant, pointed and answering to that person. So there could be 5,000 people in one room, and each person would feel this was just for me. And that is the power. That is the power of the Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita. It's something else. Yeah. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.